Hi, Greg the Brickitect here. Today I have a mock to share with you. This is a tractor that I built using only pieces from LEGO Creator Set 6747 Race Rider. Now, if you haven't seen my reviews on that set or aren't familiar with it, it basically is a 3-in-1 where you can create a street bike, a chopper, or a dragster, and the dragster in particular is what inspired this particular mock. It was because of its large back tires and those small front tires that were used in the drag car that I thought, that'd make a perfect tractor, and that's what I built, so I'm going to share that with you here today. Speaking of the tires, you may have noticed they're not 100% true to scale for a tractor. So you can see the back tire is probably a bit too wide and the front tire is a bit too narrow, but when you're dealing with just the pieces that are given to you in these individual sets, I think it worked pretty well. In the last few shots, you probably noticed this bar that runs from the front of the tractor all the way up to the steering wheel. And I did some research online, and apparently that's what a lot of these old vintage tractors had. That would actually control the steering. Unfortunately, it doesn't in this build. I didn't have quite the pieces to do that, where you could turn this in some way to steer the front wheels, but it's there just for looks. And as you can see, it kind of is just fixed on the front and rests on the back here, and I'll show you that a little bit closer next. There's a steering wheel as you see it from the seat. As you can see, I just used some Technic pieces to move it over to get it aligned properly with the seat. And the steering wheel concept was the same that was used in the drag car. I kind of just brought that over onto this. And that was about the only circular piece that I could find that would make a proper steering wheel, and I think it works pretty good. These vintage tractors have relatively small seats. You may wonder why that red is on the back of it. I just put that on there just to set it off a little bit so it wasn't all black, and you can actually tell that there was a bit of an angle that went up on the back to account for the seat. Here's the back of the tractor. You can see the fenders, how they roll over the back. I put a little white strip in there just to set it off a little bit. I like to have a little bit of detail. To put the wheels on, I had to use Technic pieces, and they weren't quite long enough, so I had to use that connector that you see in the middle. And it all worked out pretty well. Everything's on there fairly secure, and it rolls rather nicely. Now, if you're a tractor enthusiast, you're probably looking at this engine and scratching your head on where certain parts are. Unfortunately, this isn't completely realistic. I just kind of took some of the pieces that were available in this set and pieced it together to make it look like there was an engine and other parts inside there. So you'll have to forgive me for that. This isn't a 100% functional tractor, but I think it looks relatively decent. It looks like there's actually something going on there that would constitute an engine. And up top here is the exhaust, comes right out of the body. And actually that's somewhat realistic from the photos that I saw online on some of these vintage tractors. You basically just have a straight pipe with a bit of a thicker spot in the center, and these pieces work perfectly for that. So that's a look at my vintage tractor mock. Actually, while I was building this, I got an idea for another mock that I could build, and that's why I really love these LEGO Creator sets. You not only get the 3 builds that they provide you, but there's enough pieces that you can make anything that your mind comes up with within reason. There's some concessions I had to make while building this, and obviously you're kind of stuck with what you have, but when you just look at some of those pieces, you can create some amazing things inside your mind and then bring them to life, which I think I did here. So I hope you enjoyed this video. You have to let me know what you think of this. It was actually a pretty easy build. Didn't use too many pieces. In fact, here's all my other pieces that I have left, so there's quite a few. So if you're looking to build a 4th build for LEGO Set 6747 Race Rider, here you go. You can make something similar to this, and this may not be the last time you see this set, because I might be building something else out of this too. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.